prefer with that. I am not comfortable with the microphone. Is it enough? Do you hear me? So in fact, the title may look a little strange. It was used in one of our TV emissions, and maybe it's not the best title I could have found. The idea is that, as I explained you, it was very challenging to find the agenda, and we were thinking about inviting presenters from the INSPIRE conference, because one of the topics of the INSPIRE conference was also about use of INSPIRE data. So rather than to invite people and how to select them, we thought it might be better just to make a state of play, some recapitulation of what we have seen during the INSPIRE conference and maybe during other events. So it's the introduction. The main sources, of course, as the INSPIRE conference, but also other events. We organized, for instance, a workshop in INSPIRE about the workshop about extension. There was also a workshop about 3D data by EuroSDR. And in fact, there are some people that could not come. We had a presenter about Internet of Things who was interesting and who could not come. But in fact, most of those, it's not because they could not come, it's just that because we have not invited them. In fact, we have preferred just to make a summary. So, in the first place, some examples about use of INSPIRE data, mainly from the INSPIRE conference. A national example, it was coming from the city of Zagreb about planned land use. In fact, what they have done is just delivering data according to INSPIRE, a data model, and they have said potential interest for national users. On one side, INSPIRE is quite poorer than national data, but it's better documented. So nevertheless, the INSPIRE data may have interest even for national users to get some kind of standardized and well-documented data. Another example, it's coming from the Statistics Institute in Netherlands, and the use case was about computing proximity statistics across borders, and especially in this region of Netherlands that is touching Germany and Belgium, and it was not really meaningful to make statistics using only the national transport, because in practice, citizens could also use the German and the Belgium road or railway transport. So they have used mainly as INSPIRE theme address and transport network, the railway transport network. The conclusion was that it was very difficult to use INSPIRE data because it's difficult to use them in GIS. You need to be as an expert to download data. But our way, despite of all these difficulties, it was possible to find INSPIRE data, what would not have been possible 10 years ago. Maybe it was still a challenge, but at least it was possible. INSPIRE has helped a little. I have heard also some similar example. I think it was in Switzerland. In fact, they have not used INSPIRE data, but they were also computing accessibility statistics and complaining that sometimes they need also cross-border data to make these statistics reliable and better. So there was the same kind of need for cross-border data. Other example, from pan-European example, there was a presentation from DG Radio, from Hugo Pohlmann, and it was also accessibility to public transport. They were defining set of indicators, measuring different ways of accessibility to public transport, and using also INSPIRE themes such as population distribution, transport network, buildings. And I think that they were rather happy to have INSPIRE data because it allows comparison between cities and between different modes of transport. as said by Medellin, to have comparable results in whole Europe, but still there were challenges, some as having open data if possible, and timely and well-harmonized data that was not available everywhere, and also, but it was more specific to the use case, they need a computation resource big enough. Another pan-European example that was presented by mainly Dutch stakeholders. I think it was mainly Netherlands, but from what I understood, it could be replicated in whole Europe. It was about wind turbine planning. It was about simulating the location of a wind turbine and assess impact. And of course, as you can select several locations, you can find in this way the best location for a new wind turbine regarding the yield, the shadow, the land, if it was respecting the land use regulation, and noise and things like this. And once again, they were using InSpy data generally for download, mainly building, but also elevation, imagery, and more specific business data. Another use case coming also from Netherlands, but also from Poland, as Warsaw looked to be involved. And once again, potentially can be done on whole Europe. It was EcoCraft. It's a game, a computer game, based on the Minecraft environment. So there is need of, for instance, city data such as building to build this cube representation of the city. And the idea with this city model based on real InSpy data, for children, it's an educative game. Children receive a budget to improve the energy efficiency of buildings, and they should assess the cost and the benefits of three options. They can choose if they build wind turbine, if they install solar panel, or if they make isolation of buildings. So it gives them the idea of what could be done and how it costs, how it benefits. It's really an educative game. I think they had some prize during the InSpy conference. Some other examples, there was a presentation by the ELISE Energy Pilot. There was test areas in Netherlands and in Germany, but probably it can be done also in whole Europe. And it was about comparative analysis of different methodologies and data sets for energy performance labeling of buildings. And they had some simulation software allowing them to make simulations on it. So they were using or thinking about using InSpy Sim building. And from their conclusion, in fact, what they need is some interoperable data. In fact, the software, they don't really need InSpy data. What they need is standardized data. CityGML is quite fine, but as the 3D model of building is very close to CityGML, they can use as well the CityGML or InSpy 3D data. There was another use case coming this time from Spain, still about ELISE Energy Pilot, and the use case was about energy performance of buildings, using once again the Sim building. I have not captured more detail about this presentation. So the conclusion was that InSpy is very relevant. It supports the harmonization and the provision of attributes across all member states, and it's data being accessible through catalog, and it allows to have common calculation methodologies in member states, and if the national level follows the same model, it will be really very beneficial. Okay. I have just copied, paste some conclusions from the slides of the INSPIRE conference. However, the benefits of interoperability, I will say, are probably not limited to the use of INSPIRE data, but also they include the use of INSPIRE data models. So the main topic was a workshop we had last year about INSPIRE extension, and it has shown that INSPIRE data models were widely used as starting point in a European project. Generally, in the European project, the data models that rather close to INSPIRE, they are generally formal extension of INSPIRE data models. They try to stay rather close to INSPIRE, but they can be used also for new products and national standards, and in this case, it's generally more flexible adaptation. In practice, when a data provider makes a new product, or if there is a new national standard, INSPIRE is taken into account, more or less. Sometimes it's big slice of pineapple, sometimes it's just a pineapple power, but INSPIRE is taken into account in a way or another. And there were also some examples from the EuroSDR working group on 3D. I have heard during the workshop that there were some national standards based on CityGML on an INSPIRE building in Finland and Sweden. I don't know if you can confirm, Lena.
There's a big project going on in Finland, yes, which is where they are using that, yes. So I can confirm.
Another example coming from the INSPIRE conference, it was a project Plasma. They are dealing in Macaronesia. It means the islands, Atlantic islands, such as Canary Islands, Azores, Madeira. And it was about the harmonization of banting habitat cartography. It was just in the Canary Islands, and the INSPIRE theme this time was habitat and biotope. And in fact, there are, I think, 8 islands in Canary, and each of them had different data models, different code lists, and it was not harmonized at all. So they used the INSPIRE data model. They found the European classification too generic, so they used something more specific, that was the Spanish one, and it will be documented because in the INSPIRE data model there is this local habitat classification that may be given. So they use this attribute to provide the more specific classification. And what was interesting also is for the delivery, they used a flat and simplified structure supplied in the shape format, and they provide the correspondence between the long attribute name of INSPIRE and the short, very short shapefile attribute name in the metadata. They provide some matching table between different namings of attributes in the metadata. Another example during the INSPIRE conference was about a private company called Minerva Intelligence, and they have played a little with INSPIRE code list for artificial intelligence, I think mainly for mineral exploration. I don't really know what is their geographic extent, if they are interested just by Europe or by whole world. And they look interested mainly by INSPIRE themes, land use and mineral resources. And what they have found is that the INSPIRE code list need a lot of improvements because they don't correspond to the Aristotelian definition. It probably way of defining the class and the subclass that is not good enough in INSPIRE code list. And I don't know if the image is very clear, but they have made a lot of annotation and really there are lots of improvement to be brought to the Inspire context. And another example regarding ontologies is really the man who could not come because he had interest for the workshop, and we had a teleconf with him, with Benedict, to try to understand. So it comes from ETSI. It's a standard organization in telecommunication, and they were doing things for smart city interoperability, and Internet of Things, but we were looking for interoperable solution, and it was not really the case because each developer was using its own data model, and it was not interoperable at all, from what I understood. And in fact, they discovered the Inspire data models more or less by chance. I don't really know how they have found it. They were not really aware of the Inspire schema in RDF. They had concerns about the quality of ontologies, wondering if the ontology was capturing the whole content of Inspire. And they had not really yet investigated, for instance, for which scheme it will be the most useful to use these Inspire ontologies. But they had a big interest because they were perfectly aware that Inspire data model, it's not just an ontology, but there will be a lot of data attached to it. So it's why they had this big interest for the Inspire data models. They looked mainly interested, I will say, by address, transport network, and buildings, but they have not made real investigation. And I think it's my last example. I don't have conclusion because it's just a state of play.
Thank you.